You ever started a project and only had a vague idea of what direction it's going to go? Well, that's exactly what today's video is all about. You see, my house is currently being completely renovated, from flooring to walls to bathrooms and even my kitchen. And it's because of this whole process that it's made it very difficult for me to build anything recently. But that's all about to change here with today's video, as I've got a true scrap project that I should be able to build in a couple of days. Let's take a quick look at what we're going to make today. Here's the completed lamp. Let's take a quick look. The lamp has a hickory base with some walnut accent pieces. And these walnut pieces resemble a slat wall design that run down the entire length of the lamp. And finally, the lamp's got a slight tilt to it that allows a pendant light to hang directly over the desk. And all of this is stabilized with two heavy V-shaped legs. Now, as I'm recording this today, I have no idea what that final product that you just saw is going to look like, as I only have an idea in my head. Now, in my office, I have an adjustable standing desk that I do all my editing on, and because of this, I have two monitors on that desktop, which really limits the amount of desk space that I have available for a lamp at my editing station. So I thought, why not make a desk lamp like the one that you just saw that rests on the floor versus on my desktop? So I grabbed the pencil and paper and quickly drew what I had in mind. Let's take a quick look at what I'm thinking about. So this crude drawing with no perspective has a rough idea of the type of lamp that I'm thinking about. I'd like to create the base of this lamp having a little bit more weight to provide the stability it needs to hold the pendant light. I also like the idea of having a split foot at the bottom to give it just a little bit more stability. Now this design becomes even a little bit more complicated when we talk about the materials that I want to use for this lamp. First off, we have the pendant light itself. This is an extra pendant light that we have left over from the construction that we just can't return through Amazon, so I thought I'd incorporate it into this lamp. Secondly, all the wood flooring that we're getting installed is hickory, which is a wood that I've never worked with before. And our contractor, who's also our next door neighbor, had some extra hickory hardwood flooring left over, so I thought I'd incorporate it into this lamp. But since this flooring has a tongue and groove as well as notches on the back, I'm going to have to do a little bit of cleanup. So I'm going to get into it and start milling this flooring so that we have some usable stock. So I learned a lot by doing this project. First off, I had no idea that hickory was as hard as it was. In fact, it's got a Jenga rating of 1820, which is harder than hard maple as well as white oak. And my first clue to this hardness was when I threw these boards through my planer. Not only could I hear my planer struggling a little bit, but I also noticed it was creating some burn marks. Now I tried to get as much thickness out of this flooring as possible, but in the end I was only able to get about 7/10 of an inch. You'll also notice I've got a pretty hefty pile here, and that's really for two reasons. First, I wanted some extra in case I make a mistake, and secondly, since I have everything set up, I can use this stock later on. With the ridges on the back now removed, I can now focus on the tongue and groove. So I'll first address the tongue. I'll set my fence to just a little under 3 inches and slice off that tongue. And as I was slicing off these tongues, this is another moment where I realized how hard this wood is. I could really feel how brittle this wood as little pieces of sawdust were flying back at me. And once I had that tongue removed, I could now address the groove. So I set my fence to just a little over 2.5 inches and sliced off all the grooves on this hardwood. With both sides of this flooring now cleaned up, it was now time to address the ends. And this was easily accomplished by slicing them off over at the miter saw. So I got into a groove and I sliced off all the ends of this massive pile. And just like that, I had a nice big stack of usable stock. And this really turned out pretty clean once everything was milled up. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to work on the legs of this beast. Now since these pieces are a little shorter than I'd like, I decided to make a little pattern with them. With this tiny little offset, it's just going to give me a couple more inches of length on those legs. With all of these pieces offset, I'll strike a line down each leg so that I have some guidance when I go to glue them up, which is right now. Now you'll notice that I'm using 5 pieces of wood for each leg. Not only is this going to give it a bunch of support, but it's also going to add a lot of weight to the base of this lamp, which is going to be really important because in this stage of the build, I'm really concerned about this lamp being top heavy. Here you can see how those lines really help me with alignment as I put them in the clamps. And I really loaded these legs up with clamps, even putting a couple on the very ends just to make sure all that wood came together nicely. Then, after cleaning out all the glue squeeze out, it was time to let these legs cure up overnight. The next morning I was ready to go and I wanted to make some significant progress on this lamp. So I took those legs out of clamps and I was quite pleased with the results, as now we have two chunky legs that I think will work perfect for this lamp. To clean up the glue squeeze out, I thought I'd try a technique that I always see Norm Abrams using. With just a couple of passes on the joiner, all that glue squeeze out is quickly removed. With the sides now cleaned up, it was now time to tidy up the ends, and for this I'm going to cut each end at 45 degrees. And both ends will be cut at the same angle, creating a parallelogram. And once again, I can really tell how hard this wood is as I cut it with my miter saw. And with both legs cut out, you can see how they'll come together. With the legs now cut out, I now want to begin to work on the pole of this lamp. To make this, I'm going to use a longer piece of hickory floor tread. But in order to use this wood, I'm going to remove the nose of this floor tread so that it's nice and flat. With everything flattened out, I now want to figure out the angle that I want this lamp to hang at. Now I'm not going to measure this angle, but instead place a couple of pieces of wood on the ground and strike a line at the end of the board. And if I grab my angle gauge, you can see it comes in at 77.8 degrees, which is 12.2 degrees off center, so I'll set my miter gauge and make the cut. And after that first cut, I'll just do a quick test to make sure that I like the angle of this lamp. And satisfied with the results, I'll cut the same angle on the other side. Now it's time to make the piece that the pendant light will hang off of. So I'll take a piece of the flooring that we milled up earlier and line it up to the angle that we just cut and clamp it down. With the top completely flush, I'll strike a line on the opposite side of the board, as this will be the intersection of where a half lap joint will go. And to make this half lap, I'm going to use the trenching feature on my miter saw. So I'll do a few test cuts just to test the depth. Then I can adjust the saw until I get halfway through that board. After that, it's just a matter of repetitively cutting out notches until I get to the very end of that board. Then I can crumble out all that waste with my fingers and an old chisel. And even chipping out all this waste wasn't as easy as it usually is, as I'm really beginning to understand why hickory is such an excellent choice for hardwood flooring. With all that waste removed, I can now place it on top of the other piece to see how well it fits. And everything is nice and flush, so I'll flip the boards over and strike a line on the opposite side. And this line will give me guidance for where I'll create the second trench for that half lap. But before I cut the whole thing out, I just want to test it out to make sure that it goes halfway through the board. And happy with the results, I can trench out the rest of this piece of wood. And by doing this process, it really makes me understand that I need to get a brake cartridge for my saw stop for a dado stack. But this method still works, it just takes a little longer. And frankly, the results are just as good. Before we glue that half lap together, I do want to drill a hole out through the width of the smaller piece. This hole is going to allow the cord from the pendant light to slide right through the arm of the lamp. And as I slide the cord through, you can see how this pendant light will hang off of this piece. Pleased with the way the cord goes through that piece, it's now time to glue up that half lap. So I'll spread a bunch of glue evenly on that joint, add a couple of clamps, and let that glue cure up. Now that we have this glued up, clamped up, and ready to cure, it's time to go back to the legs of this lamp. Now one of my main concerns about these legs is we're kind of dealing with end grain where we need to attach the pole of the lamp. So I rummaged through my scrap pile and found a couple pieces of walnut. My idea here is to glue and screw the walnut to each leg. Once those are attached, it will give me a nice surface to attach the lamp post to. So I'll quickly cut that walnut to the same angles we cut the post to. And with both pieces cut, you can see how this will come together. So with both pieces cut, I'll now pre-drill and countersink 3 holes into the bottom of each piece of walnut. This will make sure that those screws do not interfere with the final glue up. Then I can add a ton of wood glue to that end grain and attach the walnut. Once that walnut's in place, I can cinch it all together with a couple of wood screws in the bottom of the leg. With the first leg done, I can move on to the second leg, with a liberal dose of wood glue fitting my walnut and driving it into place with a few wood screws. And here's a quick look at how those legs will come together, giving it plenty of glue surface for the pole of that lamp. Speaking of which, it's now time to take that pole out of clamps and place it into these legs. And this is something that I was quite nervous about. Not until I dry fitted the pole into the legs and tightened it down with clamps did I realize that this thing wasn't going to be top heavy and fall right over. With that extra boost of confidence, I can now attach the legs to the lamp pole. And to do this, I'm just going to use wood glue, and I'm going to use a 1/2 inch spacer to offset the legs 1/2 inch from the front of the pole. And to make things just a little bit easier on myself, I'm only going to attach one leg at a time. Once one leg is attached and cured up, it's going to make attaching the second leg a heck of a lot easier. So I'll set this to the side to cure up so that we can move on to the next step. Next, I grabbed a piece of scrap walnut that I milled down to the same thickness. Now my idea with this walnut was to create kind of a slat wall feature on the side of this lamp. So I began by cutting a couple of 1-inch wide strips of walnut. Once I had a few 1-inch strips, I then set my fence to 3/4 of an inch and cut a couple more. And surprisingly, after working with that hickory, cutting through this walnut was like cutting through pine. With a few 3/4 inch strips cut, I then moved my fence to a 1/2 inch and cut a couple more. And I just barely had enough walnut to do this. As you can see from my final cut, I'm just cutting off a wisp. And hopefully this will give me enough material to create that slat design that I'm looking for. And after cutting all those strips, it was just enough time to let the glue on that first leg cure up enough to take it out of clamps. And now we can lather up the second leg with wood glue and attach it to the post. And with all of this long grain to long grain surface, this post is never going to come apart from these legs. And as I place the second leg onto the post, I make sure that I have that 1/2 inch offset that we had on the other side. Then it's just a matter of loading it up with clamps so that I can set it to the side to cure up. As I set this lamp to the side, there's one last thing that I want to take care of before I call it a day. And that has to do with this little overlap that we have from creating our half lap joint. So I grabbed my Japanese pole saw and just chopped it off at that angle we cut earlier. And with that piece successfully cut off, it was now time to call it a day. Well, my goal on day 3 was to finally get this lamp wrapped up, and there wasn't a whole lot more to do. My first goal was to start installing some of these slats. And I actually have a dual purpose for these slats. To get this to work, I need to raise the first slat about 3 inches from the bottom of the base. I also want the first slat to overhang the back of the lamp by a 1/2 of an inch. Once I have everything fitted, I can then cut the slat down to size. Next, I'll grab another piece of that 1-inch strip and cut it at the same angle that we cut all the other angles at. And this top slat will not only have a 1/2 inch overhang in the back, but also a 1/2 inch overhang at the top. Then with my top slat clamped into place, I can then strike a line on my vertical slat so that I can cut it down to the appropriate size. Since this all comes together perfectly, I can then take my other 1-inch slat and use my first slat as a template for the other side. Then I can cut those angles over at the miter saw. With my first 2 slats cut to size, I can now add some wood glue so that we can install them onto the post. So I'll clamp the slat in place to give it some stability before I drive in some 1-inch finish nails. And these nails are really hard to see unless you're looking for them. And the nails aren't even really needed unless you're on a time crunch like I am. Since all these slats will be the same size, I'm just transferring the markings from the first slats onto the other slats. Then I can just batch out all the other angled cuts so that we have all of our completed slats. With all of our slats cut to size, I can now add the first slat on the other side of the lamp. And with that glue and a finish nail at about every 12 inches, this slat isn't going to go anywhere. With the first slat in on both sides, it's now time to add the second slat. And I played around with the spacing for a while, and 3/4 of an inch seemed to be the best placement. And you'll notice that this second slat is a little bit thinner than the first at 3/4 of an inch. And finally, it's time for the third slat at another 3/4 of an inch spacing. And this final slat is the thinnest of the 3 at 1/2 of an inch. With one side done, I could repeat the process on the other side. Now initially I was going to have the spacing in between the slats getting thinner and thinner the further it got away from the edge. But since the slats were already cut at thinner sizes, the equal 3/4 inch spacing looked much better. With the sides now done, it was now time to work on the top. So I just marked off the top slats to the appropriate size. And this will surprisingly be the first cut that I'll make at the miter saw that will be different from the first angle we set at the beginning of the project. With the top pieces cut to size, I'll add a little bit of wood glue to one side and tack them into place with some finish nails. And one thing you can see as I place this slat in right here, there's a lot of glue squeeze out, and this is really important to clean out before you add the next slat, which I'm doing right here once again at that 3/4 inch spacing. And you may have noticed that with this thinner board on the top of the lamp, there really isn't enough room for a third slat. So the top will just have the 1-inch slat as well as the second 3/4 inch slat. With everything in place, let's take a quick look at how this lamp is coming together. and I'm quite pleased with how it looks. I really think that the slats add a little bit of thickness to the lamp and make it look much more sturdy. And I really think the walnut slats tie in nicely to the walnut that we placed on the base of the lamp. Well, now it's time to install the lamp. So I'm going to take the cord of the lamp and thread it through the hole that we drilled out earlier. And luckily the cord slides right through that hole just as easily as it did when we drilled out the hole. And now you can see the purpose of why I had those first slats overhang the base of the lamp, as this will provide excellent coverage to hide the cord. But I want to put a 1/2-inch strip of walnut on top of this cord to hide it completely. So with the remaining walnut that I have, I'll just cut a few more 1/2-inch strips. Then I'll do a dry fit of the strip just to make sure everything will fit perfectly and cover that cord. Pleased with how it fits, I'm just going to add a little bit of CA glue and place the wood right on top of that cord. And after a couple of taps with my hammer and some activator, everything's sealed into place. Then I can just sand off the end flush to those slats. With the top cover installed, I can install the back in the same manner. With all of the covers installed, I'll trim the very top to size with my Japanese pull saw. Then I can fill this small void in front with a little bit of wood glue and a walnut plug. Next up, to make sure that this lamp is as stable as it can be, I'm going to add 3 little small feet to the very bottom of the legs. This will give the lamp a very stable 3 points of support versus the entire leg. And since this lamp will be resting on our new hardwood floors, I wanted to give this a felt tip foot. After that, you guessed it, as I went through the grits from 80 to 220 using my orbital sander and finalizing everything with some hand sanding. And after a quick air shower, it was finally time to add the finish. And I'm going with one of my easy favorites, just some Danish oil. And as I add the oil, I really like the contrast of this walnut and this hickory. The hickory's got some light colors that remind me of maple and then some warmer colors that remind me of elm. And you can really see the color variation as I put some Danish oil on this leg. And nothing can beat the warmth of that walnut. And I really do think that the walnut and the hickory go very nicely together. And that's going to wrap this up. Let's turn this bad boy on and see what we got. Let me know in the comments what you think. Does this lamp look like something that was made out of scrap wood? Does it look like recycled flooring? Well, that ain't too bad. Going from a rough idea like this made entirely out of scrap wood into a functioning light. I really like the V-shaped legs on this that allow the lamp to hang at an angle so that the pendant light hangs right over your desk. I also really like the incorporated slat design, which was kind of a last-minute decision, and this gave me the ability to hide all that electrical. Well, thank you so much for joining me today on this quick little build. This entire build was inspired by my channel members. If you're interested in being a member, check the description below for early access to videos as well as member-only videos. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, and share this video, as it really does help out this small woodworking channel. Also, be sure to check out my website, Flynndogwoodwork.com. There you can find some fun woodworking accessories like all the t-shirts that I wear in my videos. Well, once again, thanks so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next week, and take care as always. I think I'm gonna steal this lamp. He'd be delighted.